Welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast, episode 34. I'm your host and Perrysburg resident, Kim Newlove. If you are new to this podcast, welcome. The Perrysburg Podcast is an informational podcast for prospective, new, and current Perrysburg, Ohio residents. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Today's episode is an interview with Pastor Mark Wentz from Lutheran Church of the Master. In case you're wondering, where is Lutheran Church of the Master, or LCM if you prefer? It is located at 28744 Simmons Rd in Perrysburg. It's actually the east side, that's Perrysburg Township. If you haven't passed by this church, it might be because it's on a residential street. It's on a residential street on the east side of town near the intersection of 795 and 75. Again, it's tucked back into a neighborhood. I'll put the address, the website, and the Facebook page link in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. Lutheran Church of the Master is locally famous for its summer rummage sale, which, by the way, actually ended in 2022 when the church's mortgage got paid off. Congrats to LCM, but the rummage sale has ended. Places of worship are important to Perrysburg residents, and this episode kicks off a series of interviews with faith community leaders here in Perrysburg. Episodes will be sprinkled in throughout the life of the podcast. This is not a series that's consecutive. Episodes are not one right after the next. They'll be sprinkled in. Now, why choose Pastor Mark Wentz and Lutheran Church of the Master? It's because it's my home church. This is where I go. You'll find my family there just about every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Because LCM is my church, I have known Pastor Mark for about 5 years, and he was gracious enough to be the first in this series. And I appreciate him for that. Thanks, Pastor Mark. Pastor Dan Gildner from Grace Church on East Boundary will be next up in the series. And hey, I'm taking nominations for the next few interviews. To nominate yourself or a future guest, either message me through the website, which is perrysburgpodcast.com, or email me. My email address is kim@perrysburgpodcast.com. Without further ado, let's kick off this series. Here's my conversation with Pastor Mark Wentz. Pastor Mark, welcome to the Perrysburg Podcast.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm happy to have you first on this series of worship leaders here in Perrysburg.
Yep.
As we get started, I want to ask you, why did you become a pastor?
I felt a call from God. Actually, I felt the call when I was much younger, in my 20s, but I decided to become a physician instead. And it was about 15 years ago that I decided to go back to seminary. I went to seminary with the intent of actually going overseas as a missionary to Africa or Haiti. And so I thought I would go back to seminary in Findlay and Weinbrenner just to get some theological education. And while I was there for about a year or so, a year and a half, and in the midst of all of that, I discerned that what I thought I was being called to wasn't what I was being called to, that I instead was being called to be a pastor. And primarily being called to be a pastor because offering folks communion is very important to me. And the only way that I could offer folks communion was to become a Lutheran pastor. And so in the midst of all that, a new program opened up at Luther Seminary in St. Paul, Minnesota, called the Distributed Learning. In that program, I would go have classes, 2 classes a semester online, and then in January and then June, for a month each, I would go and be on campus. And so I did that took me about 5 years to finish that program. Because I was still practicing medicine at the time. So rest is history.
Best decision of your life?
I think so, yes. Yeah. I was ready to give up medicine. So I'd done it for 35 years, so I was ready to move on.
I think it's unique when people hear that call to serve in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for the important work that you do.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome. What brought you to Lutheran Church of the Master?
But this is actually my second call. I've been a Lutheran pastor for 10 years. Part of the reason was this was closer to my house. I live west of Toledo, about 25 miles. And in my first call, it was a 50-mile drive back and forth on the turnpike. And so this call at Lutheran Church, the Master, became available. I came here and I interviewed, and I loved the people immediately. They were so warm and friendly and outgoing. And so I decided to become their pastor. So the rest is history. I've been here almost 5 years.
I remember when you got called here, I thought you were a great fit, still are. And again, thank you for the important work you do.
Thank you. Yeah.
Churches are important to Perrysburg. Why should anyone in Perrysburg choose Lutheran Church of the Master?
Well, we are probably one of the smallest congregations here in town. We're not the smallest, but we're a small congregation. We worship about 55 to 60 on a Sunday, which is, since COVID, that's a drop. We used to worship 70 to 80, but so we're a small, intimate congregation. We're not a mega church. We are Lutheran, but our liturgy is basically Lutheran. But we have a wide selection of music that we sing, lots of different varieties and lots of different styles. So I think that's the reason to come if you're interested in music. But mostly, I think people, when they come here, they're surprised about how warm and friendly and open and encouraging this congregation is. No one in the congregation puts up any walls. No one in the congregation, the minute you come here, you know that you are welcomed. And so that was one of the things that really drew me to this congregation, about how open and friendly they are.
Those are all good reasons, and thank you for sharing that. One of the things that attracted me to this church when I was church shopping back in 2011 was that people were warm and friendly. In particular, Marilyn Ilkanich, who I think still lives in Perrysburg. She is one of the people who came up to my family and said, "You're welcome here. Glad to see you. Nice to meet you." And every time we would come back, she would keep coming back and reaffirming that, "You have a place here. We're happy to see you." And then eventually she said, "Would you like to join our church?" I think that continuity of that first person who took an interest in us continuing to take an interest was really cool. And I feel like when we have visitors here, that same thing happens. People recognize that somebody's here a second time. They walk up to them. They say, "Glad to see you again.
Sure.
Keep coming back," you know?
Yeah. Definitely, I think that's what attracts people here when they become visitors, when they come here for the first or second time, is how warm and friendly we are. Like I said, I think that is one of the things that we do really well in this congregation, to invite and welcome people in to the community.
I agree. Now, as far as all of the things that happen both in and outside of the building, what can you tell my listeners about things that happen inside the walls of this church other than the worship service?
Sure. We have a lot of stuff going on. There's almost something going on almost every night. We have a basketball team, different basketball teams that are here almost every night during the week. We have a Weight Watchers group who is here 3 days a week. We have one of the oldest, most established AA groups who has been meeting here at least since the 60s, continuously. So we are really blessed to have them be part of this facility. We have a preschool that's sponsored by the health department. We don't sponsor. We just give them space to stay. But they're always welcome here, and we try to do a few things with the kids during the year. We have Bible studies 3 nights a week, mid-week worship, in particular during the season of Lent. We have soup and a short little Bible study, and then a worship service every Wednesday night for the season of Lent. What else do we have? We have a public garden that's open for anybody who would like to plant a garden in the back of the property. Girl Scouts that are here periodically. Oh, we have swordsmen. who battle each other with giant plastic swords.
I didn't know they were plastic. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, they meet on Mondays. I have a real sword, but theirs are plastic. So
I'm eyeing it. It's not quite Conan the Barbarian type, but would you like to explain your sword in your office, Pastor Mark?
Sure. I went to a men's retreat in Colorado. I went as a physician a number of times there, but I participated in that group. And the group is called Wild at Heart. And it's a men's group, and 450 men show up for a short weekend. And one of the things they give you sometimes is a sword. So it has Wild at Heart. It's etched with Wild at Heart on the blade. So I've had it for about 25 years.
What a memorable takeaway. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's cool. My husband got a sword once. It was a Conan the Barbarian replica for being a groomsman in a wedding.
Okay.
That was the groomsman gift. That was post 9/11, so we had to definitely stow it underneath the plane. We could not take it on as a carry-on.
Okay.
Yeah, that has a good story. Our younger son, Derek, really enjoys holding it because it's very heavy, but otherwise we do not bring it out ever.
They're kind of dangerous.
They are dangerous, yes. Back to what happens inside this building. Some of the things that I have experienced are a joint worship service with Zor Lutheran Church. Mm-hmm. And also there's pancake dinners, spaghetti dinners. We have a ugly sweater party and Christmas cookie exchange.
Sure.
I started that a few years ago here at this church. And once COVID hit, I did not carry it on, but it has been carried on from time to time in various forms. Yeah. And I personally enjoy that. I have ugly sweaters and I love cookies. So it's a good event. Yeah. Anything else come to mind?
We periodically try to, I think we're going to do a spaghetti dinner this year in April. We've invited a music group, a contemporary music group to come for dinner and to play music. And that'll be sometime around the 20th of April. And so we try to do that at least every other year. And so that's one thing we'll be doing. We do fry pie night. I don't think most people know what fry pie. I had to find a set of fry pie irons when I came to the congregation. Fry pie is you put whatever ingredients you want in between two pieces of bread and squeeze them together with an iron and put them in the fire and roast and toast them. And you can put all kinds of stuff in it. You can do sweet stuff. You can do savory stuff. We try to do that every year in the fall. We really like it. It's lots of fun. So yeah.
I love that event. I really do. And I don't think many churches can say that they're kind of out in the country like we are. We're on a big piece of land in Perrysburg Township. Yeah. We have a backyard here, and it's plenty big enough to put a fire pit, build a nice sized fire, and get 25 people around it cooking fry pies. Yeah. And I got my pie iron at Bass Pro. Where'd you find yours?
Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I ordered them on Amazon, yeah.
Yep. So. We used to use those in Girl Scouts. They're a lot of fun.
Sure, yeah.
Yep, there's square ones, circle ones. They all make good sandwiches.
They do, yeah.
We like pizza sandwiches the best. What's your favorite?
I think I like cheese and corned beef.
Oh, nice. How appropriate as we record this in March.
Yes.
St. Patrick's Day is coming up. That's a famous holiday for eating corned beef. Anything else come to mind?
Well, the Zor thing we do over 4th of July weekend, we meet outside. We've tried to have other meetings outside, but the mosquitoes are kind of killer here. And so we for sure try to do it in right after the 4th of July, around that weekend. And it's a lot of fun. Zor has 2 pastors now, so we'll be doing three of us will be doing that service together, and we're looking forward to it this year.
I'll have to buy another microphone when we interview them. I didn't realize they had 2 pastors now.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, and catechism is something that is not necessarily here at Lutheran Church of the Master, but When you mentioned Zor, it reminded me that Zor hosts our youth for catechism classes,
Well,
right?
actually, I'm part of the group. And we actually have a meeting Sunday. So the three pastors teach the classes together. And so I've met a lot of the kids from Zor out of that. We have a couple of kids at the moment that are in catechism, and so they meet with us as well. And we're all this July we are all going to New Orleans for the youth gathering. So there'll be 3 or 4 of our kids from here going with the other kids from Zor. I think there's only one boy going, so it's like 15 girls, and I'm the only
boy.
I'm the only male pastor going. So I think we're going to be tortured, but we'll see.
Oh, it's bonding time. Let's put a positive spin on it. Come on now.
We'll see.
I remember when my son Derek was supposed to go on a youth outing, on a youth trip.
Huh?
It was during the pandemic, and the trip got canceled. Yeah,
it was canceled.
That was unfortunate.
It was canceled for 3 years. Yeah.
Yep.
So this will be the first one since before the pandemic.
I hope you have a safe trip, and you and your male companion enjoy yourselves.
Unfortunately, it is in July, which is the hottest season in New Orleans. So you go there and you take changes of clothes because you sweat so much.
I was in New Orleans in December, and it was still 80 degrees. Yeah, it felt great, but I just thought, boy, I'm glad I'm not here in July.
Yeah.
Yep, you will be.
Yeah, it's roasty, so...
Yeah. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a great trip. And let's transition to things that Lutheran Church of the Master does outside the building.
We're part of the Perrysburg community, so we do a number of things with the other pastors, the other churches here in Perrysburg. There are about 8 or 9 churches in Perrysburg, and 7 or 8 of us are in what's called the Perrysburg Ministerium, and we get together, the pastors get together for meetings, but we also sponsor a number of activities during the year. So the next one coming up will be a Good Friday service in the Perrysburg Commons, and this will be the 3rd year that we've been doing that. And there are about 7 churches that come together to organize that.
Yeah, that's in the Commodore Schoolyard, right? Next to the Perrysburg Administration Building?
Actually, this year it's going to be in the building.
Oh, okay.
Because we decided it's too cold outside in that time of year, and the weather's kind of iffy. So we decided this year that we're going to actually meet inside the building. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yes, March 29th, I think it is.
Yes.
That's Good Friday, right?
Yeah, Good Friday, yeah.
Yeah, that could be chilly.
Yep. In the summer, just before school starts, we sponsor a blessing and of backpacks and the blessing of the children. Again, that's at the Commodore Perry Park just before the start of school. We as the ministerium do that as well. We, as the Lutheran Church of the Master, are one of the sponsors for Perrysburg Christian United, which is the food pantry here in Perrysburg. So we sponsor that. We're part of that. We're part of the Homecoming Festival. We're also part of the Rossford Fall Parade, the Halloween parade. So we collect food. Canned goods during the parade for that.
One of the things that I've noticed that we do both inside and outside of the building is the Noisy Change collection.
Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So the first Sunday of every month, we do a Noisy Change offering from the congregation, and so all the kids collect the Noisy Change. And then we donate those proceeds to different charitable organizations in the community. So this past weekend, we did it for Bags of Love, which is a fairly new organization that we're trying to get connected with here just outside of Perrysburg. It's more closer to Rossford. Some of the other things we sponsored, we've given offerings to the group that goes to Haiti from Perrysburg, Mission International of America. And Mission International of America sponsors a school, a medical clinic, an orphanage, a food farming resource center, and so we have connected with them. We sponsor them as well. We sponsor the Gideons. We do something with the Ann Grady facility. So we do different things every month. It's a different organization. So.
And you accept nominations from the congregation.
If a member of the congregation would like us to do sponsor an organization, all they have to do is let us know, and we're happy to do that. So yeah.
The office manager is a former Rossford teacher. I think she still substitutes over there.
She does.
And she has chosen I think it's a summer lunch program or something like that, as the designated charity in the past. So that's an example of a nomination that's been accepted. And before your time, Pastor Mark, they allowed us to nominate the assistance dogs as a charity. They're now with the Ability Center, and I appreciated that because I think we did it in April, which is Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. It was a good choice, I thought. Very timely.
Okay, good. Yeah.
My son had a therapy dog from the Ability Center, and
nice.
it helped him with his autism.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Who doesn't love dogs? It was a good choice.
Good.
Awesome. Anything else that you can think of, either inside or outside the church, or a combination of both, that we do here at Lutheran Church of the Master?
Yeah, we do the Perrysburg Commons Nursing Home worship service every month, sometimes twice a month. So we're in the rotation. We go there and offer a service and offer them communion. So that's an important part of our outreach to the community. Many folks in the congregation volunteer in lots of ways individually with the congregation. There are folks who go to the library. There are folks who do a reading program. We're trying to get a little closer connection to the Rossford Elementary School, since we're just down the street from them. So this past year, we collected Christmas gifts for a family of Rossford grade school kids. So those are some of the places that we're trying to be outreaching.
I hear a lot of good things. Yeah, inside and outside of this church.
Sure.
I'm proud to be a member here, happy to be here. And
I'm glad.
Yeah, I would definitely invite anybody listening to this to come and see. We have a worship service every Sunday at 9 a.m. And Pastor Mark was mentioning how during Lent we have the worship service at 7 p.m., but there's a soup and, is it a soup-only dinner?
No, soup and a Bible study.
Soup and a Bible study,
and
Wednesday nights.
This year we're doing the Bible study is on prayer.
Very good. I was part of Sunday school. From time to time, I show up regularly, but when we were reading the Bible from cover to cover, I was there pretty much every week, except if I was traveling for something, and that got me to read the Bible. I was really happy to do that.
Good. I'm glad.
And I listened to it on audiobook for the most part.
Well, that's fine.
And it counts.
Yes, it does.
It worked for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and you did a great job leading the discussion about each chapter, and then watching on YouTube, what is it, the Bible Project? The Bible Project for each chapter too really helped bring clarity.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. It was a good program. We just finished it. It took a little longer than we anticipated, so we just finished it in January. So it was a good program.
Yes. I second that. I am very happy we did that. I feel like I can finally say, yes, I've read the Bible. Yes. I really have. I listened to it.
That's all right. That's fine.
All right. Good things happen here at Lutheran Church of the Master. Is there anything else as we start to wrap this up that you'd like to say?
Just to reiterate what you said, we're happy to have visitors. We're always open to new folks to come and visit. There is no expectation when you visit. Just come and enjoy worship and worship with us. We do a fellowship hour after, or more like a half hour right after worship, and you are more than welcome to join us and nosh and drink some coffee and just come and visit us. We're always happy to have visitors. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And if you want to check us out, we have a live stream via Facebook Live every Sunday, 9 a.m.
Yeah. If you want to visit the website, it will give you some basic information about the church. So.
Yep. lcmperrysburg.org, right?
Correct. That's it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, check that out. Come and see. Pastor Mark, thank you so much for being with me here on the Perrysburg podcast. Take care.
All right. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. God bless.
Thanks again to Pastor Mark for being my guest today on the Perrysburg podcast. I really do love my little church, and I think Pastor Mark is a great shepherd for our flock. My family feels at home there, and Lutheran Church of the Master is one of the reasons that my family likes living in Perrysburg. Pastor Dan Gildner from Grace Church on East Boundary is up next in this series. Not the next episode on this podcast, but next in this series. I'm looking forward to learning more about him. Why did he become a pastor? What brought him to Grace Church in Perrysburg? What happens both inside and outside of Grace Church? And anything else he wants to share too. I know he is a Perrysburg resident. If you're interested in the same opportunity for your church, please reach out. My email address is kim@perrysburgpodcast.com, and you can also reach me through the website, perrysburgpodcast.com. Churches and faith community leaders do a lot for Perrysburg. This is an opportunity for me to give back, and I would like to recognize as many as possible. This series just might help a prospective, new, or current Perrysburg, Ohio resident find a church home. Let's wrap this episode up. If you'd like to visit Lutheran Church of the Master and meet Pastor Mark Wentz, visit us on Sunday at 9 a.m. Lutheran Church of the Master is located at 28744 Simmons Road in Perrysburg. And hey, it's Lent right now, so if you'd like to check out a Wednesday service, the worship service is at 7. There's a soup dinner with a Bible study at 6. Come and see us anytime. We love visitors. This has been episode 34 of the Perrysburg Podcast. Please visit perrysburgpodcast.com to read the show notes. In the show notes, you'll find Lutheran Church of the Master's website, Facebook page, and address, my email address, and more. If you know someone who might like this episode, please share it with them. And if you like this podcast, please subscribe to or follow the Perrysburg Podcast on your favorite podcast player and YouTube to get each new episode right when it comes out. Thanks for listening today. I'll talk to you next Friday.